start up a round or two for a pound or two. Come on, bring your knuckles. Have a go for the boys of Jimmy Sharman now. Hey-ya!
Jimmy Sharman's boxes. James Sharman, 20th of June 1887 to the 18th of November 1965, was an Australian boxing troupe and entertainment impresario. His son also worked with him and took over for his father in 1955 after playing as a professional rugby league footballer. James Sharman was born in Narellan, New South Wales, the fifth of 13 children to James Sharman and Caroline Brailsfield. He established a boxing tent in 1911 at Ardlethan near Temora. The tent visited 45 to 50 shows each year. His son, Jimmy Sharman Jr., took over the business in 1955. The tent formed part of the Australian show landscape until 1971, when regulations barred boxers fighting more than once a week. A member of the Showman's Guild of Australasia, he then turned to Dodgem Cars in partnership with Gary O'Neill and Reg Grundy. Jimmy Sharman's boxing tent had many famous boxers working, including Ronald O'Callaghan, the Black Irishman champion, Aboriginal, Frank Burns, middleweight champion, Graham Burns, Jeff Burns, Ted Burns, Charlie Burns, Teddy Green, bantamweight, Harry Mack, featherweight, Mickey Miller, bantam and featherweight, George Cook, heavyweight, Jack Hassan, lightweight, Billy Grime, triple title holder, Jackie Green, triple title holder, Dave Sands, Aboriginal boxer, Greg McNamara, light heavyweight. Famous Indigenous Australians to work in the tent include George Bracken, Aboriginal lawyer, Jeff Clark, former ATSIC chairperson, Douglas Nichols, later pastor with the Churches of Christ in Australia and then Governor of South Australia, Max Stewart, convicted murderer and a Renty elder. Some boxers came from the Cherbourg Aboriginal Mission near Nanango, Queensland. The Cherbourg Aboriginal settlement was located on the lands of the Waka Waka people near the town of Murgon in southeastern Queensland. The Salvation Army missionary William J. Thompson established a mission at Barrambah in 1899. Initially it was sponsored by the Ipswich Aboriginal Protection Society. In 1904-1905, the Queensland government took over management of the Barrambah Aboriginal settlement, as Cherbourg was also known at that time. In 1986, Cherbourg became a Doggett deed of grant in trust, and the community began managing its own affairs. Quote from the Cherbourg Aboriginal Settlement website on Find and Connect. The government administration controlled almost every aspect of the Aboriginal people's lives: the language they spoke, what they ate, what they wore, where they went, for whom they worked, and in some cases whom they would marry. Aboriginal people removed to Cherbourg were either placed in dormitories or lived in camps. Large numbers of boys and girls, men and women, were brought up away from families in the dormitories. Anyone breaking the strict laws were severely punished, locked up in jail or sent away to other reserves like Palm Island and Woorabinda. To quote John Maynard, an Aboriginal historian at the University of Newcastle, "There was denied mobility for our people and denied opportunity in every aspect of life. Most of our mob were confined on heavily restricted and controlled missions and reserves, but if you were able to buy some freedom in the boxing ring, then, well, go for it."
Sharman is just about to start up a round or two for a pound or two. Come on, bring your knuckles. Have a go for the boys of Jimmy Sharman now. Hey-ya!
The book, Jimmy Sharman's Boxers, Australia's legendary travelling boxing troupe. The author, Stephen McGrath, won the prestigious Age Short Story Award. He was also runner-up in the same competition. Excerpt. The First World War is raging, but Jimmy Sharman's boxing troupe will not go to war. Instead, they continue to tour small country towns holding boxing matches. They are the fighters who will not fight. In 1914, Archibald Blackmore, a young man with a turned-in foot, joins Jimmy Sharman's boxing troupe as a clerical assistant. He has a remarkable facility for memory and detail. He narrates the troupe's journey throughout country towns at the outbreak of the First World War and the next 4 years as the war drags away more and more men. Sharman's men face enormous pressure to enlist. They are the fighters who do not fight. The book, Jimmy Sharman's Boxers, describes actual people and historical events and is based on Jimmy Sharman's boxing troupe, who formed in 1912. and continued fights throughout the First World War until temporarily disbanded because of the 1919 influenza pandemic. Jimmy Sharman is a conundrum. Raised in a large, poor Catholic family, becoming a tent boxer at age 11. He blinds another boxer and is racked by guilt for the rest of his life, yet develops an extremely profitable and popular showground fixture. We learn about Sharman's boxing tent spruiking, his unconventional business habits, his furious temper, his leadership and diplomacy. Sharman was 27 and medically fit when the war started. We learn the real-life stories of several Indigenous boxers who were openly defiant against the intense racism they encountered. We meet clumsy Billy Grimes, the flat-foot kid who went on to win several Australian titles. We see an unlikely friendship develop between Rudd Key, a Chinese boxer, and Sharman. As losses at Gallipoli and the Western Front grow, townspeople begin to question why a troop of young men are fighting for profit while others are dying. Soon there are few men left. Sharman struggles to find challengers. Recruitment propaganda and the white feather campaigns intensify. The conscription plebiscites bitterly divide Australia. The White Feather Campaign was a prominent enlistment campaign and shaming ritual during the First World War, in which women gave white feathers to non-enlisting men, symbolising cowardice and shaming them into signing up. The campaign was unpopular among the public, often causing mental suffering and suicides among men. In the first half of the 20th century, a popular attraction at country shows was the boxing tent. A team of fighters would be matched with local lads who wanted to demonstrate their skill or perhaps impress a girlfriend. Jimmy Sharman was one of the most well-known promoters, attracting the punters' attention by the beating of a big bass drum. He would line his boxers up on a raised platform in front of the crowd and cry, "A round or two for a pound or two. Who'll take a glove?" During World War I, the conscription debate saw increasing pressure placed on young men to enlist. Sharman, however, kept his boxing troupe operating patriotically, donating much of his takings to the Red Cross and local hospital funds. New South Wales mid-coast towns were not always included on Sharman's circuit, but he put in an appearance at the Wingham show in both 1915 and 1916, bringing with him fighters such as Ted Green, Jack Green, Walter Coffey, Tom Ryan and Taggy Young. Some of these sporting personalities also achieved success in more regulated boxing circles. Tent boxing was seldom reported, although it was very popular, as it was considered somewhat disreputable and has now all but disappeared. Author Penny Tierman. The 2007 Peter Carstairs film September features its main characters, 15-year-old boys Ed and Paddy, setting up a boxing ring on Ed's family wheat belt property in anticipation of a visit by Sharman's boxing troupe. Paddy later joins the troupe. Here are some reminiscences sourced from the Facebook page Vintage Victoria, Australia Heritage, History and Memories, courtesy of Cinematic Australia. Raymond Sheehan. At the Christmas school holidays, Rosebud and Rye carnivals had Jim's troupe there every year. As a young boy, he would tee you up with someone about your size and we would put on these big gloves and go hammer and tong on each other. He would pay 3 shilling and go halves in the ring throw, so my uncle didn't have to shell out on me at carnival. I had my own money then. I did it for years at both carnivals. Loved it. Great memories. 1964 to 69. Kevin Walker. I remember Jimmy Sharman's boxing troupe well. You've just reminded of the drums beat. I can remember also local contestants would fill up on Dutch courage from the local beer booth and stagger over to the tent full of bravado, usually to get flattened by one of Jimmy's troupe. Barbara Coghlan. The sound of the bass drum would have everyone running when Jimmy's troupe were in town. John Davis, his boxing event at Royal Show Melbourne was always a highlight in the 60s. Great excitement and well attended. Hop Hopkins, at the Royal Melbourne Show every year, 60s and 70s when I was a kid. Also the strip shows were an eye-opener for a young boy.
Roll up. Jimmy Sharman is just about to start up a round or two for a pound or two. Come on, bring your knuckles. Have a go for the boys of Jimmy Sharman now. Hey-ya!
Legacy. In 2003, the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales honoured Sharman Jr. with the title of Show Legend. In popular culture, the Australian rock band Midnight Oil's 1984 album Red Sails in the Sunset includes the song Jimmy Sharman's Boxers, whose lyrics assert that Sharman exploited the Aboriginal boxers he employed in his show. Excerpt. Fighting in the spotlight, eyes turn blacker than their skin. For Jimmy Sharman's boxers, it's no better if you win. Standing in the darkness, lined up waiting for the bell. The days are wasted drinking at the first and last hotel. The Australian rock band Cold Chisel's song Yesterdays has lyrics which refer to Jimmy Sharman's boxers. Excerpt. Baby, that's okay. I'll live to fight another day. Black man on the ropes at Jimmy Sharman's fighting ring. I've seen a lot of things before I had the time to sort them through. I'm taking time for you. Yesterdays are gone. We don't need them now. Jimmy Sharman Jr.'s son, Jim Sharman, became a theatre and film director known especially for the musicals Hair, Jesus Christ Superstar, The Rocky Horror Show, and the movie version, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. One Paul Kelly track, Rally Around the Drum, written with Archie Roach, who told the story that he was shanghaied while drunk in Fitzroy and waking up to be told to fight in a boxing tent in Gippsland. Archie Roach's fighting name was Kid Snowball. Excerpt, Rally Around the Drum. Like my brother before me, I'm a tent boxing man. Like our daddy before us, travelling all around Gippsland. I woke up one cold morning, many miles from Fitzroy, and it came dawning. By Billy Leach I was employed. Rally around the drum, boys, rally around the drum. Every day, every night, boys, rally around the drum.